You are watching the Big 12 on ESPN. The Baylor Lady Bears have already clinched a share of their 11th straight Big 12 title. Tonight, they go for it outright against the Texas Longhorns. Baylor 19-2 on the season, 14-1 in the Big 12. Texas 16-7, 10-6 in conference. Baylor with 9 straight wins over Texas and 24 of the last 25. As we welcome you inside our ESPN studios. Hey everybody, Ryan Rucco alongside the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. So happy to be with you this Monday night here on ESPN. Rebecca, this matchup, not just a Big 12 matchup, but also a matchup between two of the best bigs, not only in the conference, but in the country, when we talk about Nalissa Smith as well as Charli Collier.
Yeah, you know, I like talking about the bigs heading into a game, and Nalissa Smith is one of my favorite 4 players to watch in the country, and Charli Collier is having a terrific season so far. And we'll start with Baylor and Nalissa Smith. She is one of the best forwards in the country. The 6'2 junior is an incredible athlete, finishes well inside, really good off the bounce and playing in space, averaging 18 points, 9.5 boards per game. And then Texas is Charli Collier, 6'5", long post player. Nice footwork around the basket, strength when finishing. She's averaging 21 and 12.
You see the numbers on the season, so impressive for both of these young women. Collier 21 and 12, as Rebecca said. Now, last time these teams met, though, Collier was held down, scored a season low 2 points in that game, struggled just getting 3 field goal attempts and ended up fouling out. For more on Charli, we check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, Ryan, part of those struggles were because Charli Collier didn't get a lot of touches, just 5 paint touches in that entire game. Vic Schaefer said he went with a bigger lineup, so she was on the perimeter more. But I actually talked to Charli Collier about it. She said they had a 2-hour film session yesterday. They have better plans tonight. Their guard, Kyra Lambert, also said, look for more post-to-post action, high-low action. And she said at the end of the day, some of it's on the guards. We have to find Charli Collier tonight.
Well, certainly Charli and her teammates will hope that she does get more touches tonight. Meanwhile, Nalissa Smith, one of the top players in the nation, the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year. And one thing Kim Mulkey pointed out to us, she said, hey, she could have gaudier numbers, but she has sacrificed certain stats in order to help us win. And she has helped Baylor to a 19-2 record thus far this season. The first meeting, Texas held to just 35 points in a dominant Baylor win. Baylor ranked 6th in the nation. As this game is underway, the tip is snared by Celeste Taylor of Texas.
Baylor starting out in their man-to-man defense. You're seeing Queen Egbo with the defensive assignment on Charli Collier. Keep an eye on that one.
Collier sets a screen up top. Through the right side of the lane, layup won't go for Lambert. The follow, no good for Collier, but another chance here for Texas. Warren digs in, lost it out of bounds, and it will be Baylor basketball.
But a good sign on that offensive possession for Texas. In the first meeting, they ran that same double high screen, but Charli Collier was popping on most of the on-ball screens. There she rolled, as a result, got in the paint and got the offensive board.
Baylor's starting lineup to begin this game: Dee Richards, Moon Urson, Trinity Oliver, Nalissa Smith, and Queen Egbo. The little jumper is good for Egbo, averaging 10.5 points, 7.5 rebounds per game. Audrey Warren, Kyra Lambert, Joanna Allen Taylor, Celeste Taylor, and Charli Collier are the 5 who start this game for Texas. And a whistle underneath, I believe, is going to go against Baylor, and Egbo, who was working against Collier.
And you heard Holly mention that in that first matchup, Charli Collier only had 5 touches in the paint. She didn't have a single touch in the first quarter. She spent most of her time floating around the perimeter. I'm really encouraged to see her looking and getting touches inside.
Rebound snared by Oliver. Here is Dee Richards. third in the nation in assists, leading the Big 12 in that category with 7 per game. Pull-up jumper, no good from Urson, and the rebound taken in by Alan Taylor. Talking to Vic Schaefer before the game, he said Alan Taylor has needed to take the kind of leap in minutes that she has this year because of the lack of depth from this Texas team as they turn things over a bit as Lambert buries the 3. Texas was just 1 of 12 from downtown last time these teams met. As Richards hits the 14-footer.
Dee Richards with size at the point guard position. It helps her be a terrific passer, second in the country, 7 assists a game, but it also helps her see over her defender on jump shots.
Lambert kicks it out. Collier, the ball fake. The leader is good. So Charlie Collier already matched her field goal total from the first matchup.
I just like how aggressive and engaged she looks to me on the offensive end of the floor.
Here is Richards, her first season as a point guard for this Baylor team. It played on the wing, and she draws the foul against Lambert.
Charlie Collier catches on the driving kick at the three-point line, and she's very capable of making three-pointers. I like that she passed it up, took a dribble in, got a bit closer. This is a good start for her.
Now that's the part of her game, right, that translates so well to the modern game, that the ability to hit from outside at her size and even set herself up like that.
Yeah, I mean, she's a handful inside, but she certainly can step out and hit the 3. And Mooners and the lost art of the mid-range jumper, she's got it.
That was something that Kim Mulkey was talking about in regard to Moon with us last night. How proficient she is in the mid-range. Collier with the breakdown, just couldn't finish after getting a pretty good look. Let's check in with Holly for a little more on Moon Urson.
Well, you see her hitting that mid-range game, and when I talked to her yesterday, she said that that's the best improvement she's had all year is in the mid-range. Kim Mulkey said it's because she can jump like crazy. Her name is Moon for a reason. She's skies high at that free throw line extended, and she's become really proficient at that shot.
Well, what's interesting about it, as the foul's called here, against Baylor. What's interesting about it, Holly and Rebecca, is you see the jump from Moon Urson, all career highs this season, but in some ways, that ends up being the looks that are available then against certain defenses as teams adjust to eliminating the paint and running you off the three-point line. And so those shots which have been scorned in recent years then start to become in vogue again because they may be the cleanest looks you get.
Moon Urson's freshman year, I did one of her games, and we're in person, and it was at their shoot-around, and I couldn't take my eyes off of her frame. She is a big, strong athlete for a guard, and it helps her, you know, to be such an incredible leaper, which translates into an improved mid-range game.
Also translates into 7 rebounds a game, despite being just 5'6".
Here is just what we're talking about, and you know, they like to set this double screen away for Urson to curl, get to the free throw line, elevate, and shoot over.
A 7-6 start for Texas. Alan Taylor, and that's going to be an offensive foul, goes against Audrey Warren. Vic Schaefer in his first season at the helm of Texas. After 2 Final Four appearances with Mississippi State, he has a tremendous recruiting class coming in next season, ranked 4th in the country. Some big-time junior college recruits as well. Collier comes up with a steal, 2-on-1 developing. Alan Taylor back to Collier, couldn't finish, just blew the bunny, and that was what Schaefer lamented about the loss to Oklahoma the other day. Just so many missed layups as well as free throws. Through the left side of the lane, Collier came up with a rejection. Taylor gives it up. Alan Taylor back to Collier, a 3, way off the mark and out of bounds. Kim Mulkey, always looking dapper, 21 seasons at the helm of Baylor, a 3-time national champion. He joked with us last night. Holly asked about the Big 12 championships, and she said, you know, I think that's a lot, and I'm not that old.
So here Alyssa Smith coming over to set the screen, and it didn't look to me like there was a lot of contact. I think that was a really nice job by Taylor.
3 turnovers in the last 2.5 minutes for Baylor. Celeste Taylor from 12, and it's going to be a travel before the shot attempt for Taylor.
The first matchup between these two teams was certainly an offensive struggle for Texas. You see they have 7 points already in this quarter. They had 8 points in the first quarter the last time these two teams met. A much better start so far for the Longhorns.
Urson finds Smith. Little baby Jay is good.
And that's going to be there tonight because of the way Texas hard hedges on the on-ball screen. I would look, if I'm Baylor, to utilize Smith in a lot of screens because she's very good at hitting that mid-range or driving in space.
Step back jumper, too strong from Lambert. Rebound collected by Egbo. Here comes Richards with the flick ahead. Richards uses the screen from Smith into the corner. A 3 is no good for Carrington. Dejanay Carrington just into the game off the bench. The grad transfer from Stanford, who has fit in so nicely with this Baylor team. Alan Taylor ducks inside, couldn't finish. Rebound taken in by Egbo. 8-7 Baylor lead inside of 4 minutes to go in this first quarter. Oh, Richards, the breakdown, lost it, got it back. Plenty of time for Baylor to operate. Urson off one leg, couldn't get it to go, and the rebound secured violently by Taylor.
Texas has done a terrific job on the defensive board so far in this game. Baylor without a single offensive rebound. Baylor is a terrific offensive rebounding team.
They are #1 in the nation in offensive rebounding percentage. Long 2 won't go from Celeste Taylor. Leads to a potential break. And now an offensive foul against Carrington is going to take us to break. Baylor a 1-point lead early. Dee Richards, an absolutely incredible journey this season. You have to hear about it next from Holly. A scary moment to begin this season for Dee Richards. This collision with her teammate, Moon Urson, actually left Dee with a spinal cord injury. Rehabbing, was walking with a walker to assist her. Had to relearn how to walk on her own, as you see. And then, remarkably, from October 24th to then that last shot you saw was November 5th, this is November 18th, back to running and layup drills. And in just 38 days, ended up back on the floor for her team competing. Just incredible stuff. And for more, we check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, I talked to Dee Richards about this yesterday, and I said, has this given you any kind of fear? Because she plays all out and so hard. And she said, I can't think about that. I'm going as hard as I can. Every time I take a hit on the court, it makes me feel better because I know my body can handle it. And I said, how are you feeling now? She said, this is the best I've felt, but Dee isn't Dee yet. And I'd like to see when Dee gets to full strength because she's already a National Defensive Player of the Year finalist, leading the league in assists, and she has been terrific in the comeback from that injury.
I mean, it's striking when you see the video. Her inability to walk fluidly and then how quickly she came back, and then to see her what she's doing right now, wow, remarkable.
One of the best stories in the nation this season. As Smith traveled and Baylor turns it over. That is their 5th turnover in the last 5 minutes.
And Texas now has gone with their big lineup. Lauren Ebo in alongside with Charlie Collier. And this is where, does Charlie Collier, now that she has another big in the game, does she start to float on the perimeter? Does she start to look like a facilitator in the high-low? I would still like to see her posting up inside.
Texas has missed its last 7 shots. They have gone nearly 6 minutes without a field goal. Audrey Warren finds the field goal. Nice dish inside to Ebo for her first bucket of the game. You know, that's the announcer touch. You mentioned something hasn't happened in a while. Bang. Done. Carrington stopped. Flicks it out to Richards. Shot clock down to 7, and Baylor turns it over again. Hey, coming up at 9 Eastern over on ESPN, it's Bedlam in Stillwater as Cade Cunningham and number 17 Oklahoma State host number 16 Oklahoma. Texas a 9-8 lead on Baylor, 1:27 to go in this first. You know, this is something Texas does. They turn you over. They have the 15th best defensive turnover percentage in the nation. And Vic Schaefer told us earlier today the thing he's been most pleased with lately is the defensive improvement. He thinks it's been dramatic over the last 5 games or so.
If you're going against a Vic Schaefer coach team, you know they are going to get after you on the defensive end of the floor. They're going to play man-to-man. They're going to at times pick up full court.
Every Texas player I spoke to prepare for this game said the last game was embarrassing on offense, but they defended well. And they really felt they could build on that. They said they were suffocating against Baylor, and they wanted to do it again tonight. And I think we're seeing this. They went a long time without scoring, but guess what? Baylor didn't either, because this Texas defense has been very intense.
Absolutely, Holly. Baylor, one of their last 7 from the floor. They have 6 turnovers in the quarter, and it's Texas with a 1-point lead. Taylor gives it back. Warren. Richards dishes ahead, and Urson draws the foul. Moon Urson is going to shoot 2.
One of the things you have to do when you're going against Baylor is try to limit their transition opportunities, force them into a half-court game where they are very good, but they are excellent when they can get out and run.
Urson hits the free throw. First free throw of the game for Baylor. Texas 3 for 15 shooting in the quarter. Baylor 4 for 11 as Urson hits a pair. And Texas can essentially hold this for a final look.
And now that Texas has a big lineup, you see Smith and Collier on one another. I'd go to Collier inside. Maybe you can get a foul on Alyssa Smith.
Smith already has 1 personal as well. Shot clock at 10. Lambert, the kick, and a charge is called. As Lambert dished it, Urson was there to take the contact.
Collier was stepping out to set the screen. Kyle Lambert went away from it. Moon Urson steps in to take the charge.
Stepped in a little late, no?
A little bit.
Not so sure about that call. Urson, before the buzzer, leaves it short, and that'll do it for the first. A defensive opening quarter. Baylor a 10-9 lead on Texas. Kyra Lambert, the lone senior for the Longhorns, here on Senior Day. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's. Try the new jalapeno popper chicken sandwich and salad today at participating U.S. Wendy's. Charlie Collier, perhaps going to be the #1 pick in the WNBA draft come this April. On February 14th at Baylor, she had just 5 touches in the paint, 19 touches overall for a player averaging 21 points. on 52% shooting, but she got a lot more touches in the first quarter tonight.
Yeah, and again, in that first matchup in the first quarter, she didn't have a single paint touch. She already has 2 paint touches here today as Melissa Smith goes after it, and 9 total. So certainly an improvement on the first time these teams met.
Just 1 of 5 from the floor, though, in that first quarter. Texas really struggled shooting the ball. 3 of 15. That was something Vic Schaefer emphasized to us this morning, just how much they have struggled shooting. Collier gets the touch and traveled after the catch. As we check in with Holly.
Well, she has traveled in other ways that are more positive. She's done everything to prepare to be the #1 pick in the WNBA draft, whether it's gymnastics, the swim team, karate. She did track and volleyball as well in middle school. She got her first offer from Texas in 7th grade. And that last photo, I know we had to go quick, but she was even on an eyeball team with Dee Dee Richards. They grew up together playing with and against each other in Texas. And there she is. There's Dee Dee right there next to Charlie on the left side of the photo. But she has been preparing for this moment forever, to be a high-class athlete. She is so ready to take that next step. She has not announced her decision yet, but many people are expecting this will be her last game at the Longhorn Stadium.
Rebecca, what do you think as Texas with the fast break here? Pull-up jumper. Boy, Texas just cannot hit any of these great looks. A little spin inside, no finish there. What do you think about Collier at the next level?
Well, she certainly has the size, 6'5". She has the motor. She works really hard. Vic Schaefer's talked about how pleased he is with her improvement as a help side defender, and also her ability to hard hedge on on-ball screens. She'll have to clean some things up like that travel, but she can catch the basketball and she can finish inside.
You know, one thing that you see for our ESPN mock draft, she is right now slated to be the first pick. One thing that Vic Schaefer pointed out to us in regard to Collier was not only is she averaging the 21 points, but she's getting doubled and triple teamed, and she's surrounded by players who aren't necessarily hitting their shots right now. So it makes it even more impressive with that she's still been able to put up these numbers despite that.
Life is hard for a post player if you're not surrounded by shooters, because that means it's easy to double and triple team. We still have a defensive battle. Has anyone scored this quarter? No.
No. There you go. That jumper won't rim in. Rebound taken by Egbo. Here comes Oliver. Out there with Richards, Urson, and Alyssa Smith. The follow is good for Queen Egbo. And a chance for 3 for Queen. And coming up tomorrow on Super Tuesday, it's a triple header on ESPN. At 5 Eastern, number 3 Baylor squares off against number 6 West Virginia. Then number 2 Michigan hosts number 4 Illinois. And at 9 p.m. Kentucky takes on Ole Miss.
We've moved to the time of year where we get the triple header.
That's right.
All right.
You're going to have basketball on your TV all day long pretty soon. It is March.
It is March. I mean, look
Ebo trying to fight for position inside.
Queen Egbo playing terrific defense, getting around, fronting, not allowing the ball to go in. You're looking at the offense, I'm looking at the defense.
That's why you're a championship player and I'm not. I also think we do need to say, I mean, there's something special about an Egbo guarding an Ebo.
It cannot go without saying.
No, and it can't happen often.
No. Twice this year.
That's right. History in Texas. Collier got a high touch there. Sets the screen for Taylor. Alan Turner with a shot clock at 6. Alan Turner's leaner banks in. And that was exactly what Texas needed. Flung down the floor. Oliver was able to save it off of Texas, so Baylor keeps the possession.
That's what Baylor does. As soon as they get the basketball, even on a made shot, they are looking to push the pace the other way. Good job by Texas to get back.
Urson gives it up. On the attack, the layup is good for Sarah Andrews, the freshman out of Irving, Texas.
That's the way to get warm as soon as you get off the bench. Dribble penetration, fake the pass, and score.
Andrews, the number 7 overall prospect, number 2 point guard this season. Was a Naismith High School All-American. Warren lost it for a second, got it back. Shot clock winding again. Collier couldn't grab it, loose ball. Urson has it, 4 on 2. Smith able to twist into the bucket. Wanted a whistle as well.
She is so good in the open floor. She is so good in space. An incredible athlete, has good quickness, able to finish there. And I have to say, Ryan, I like Texas better in this matchup when they're with their smaller lineup, because when they're big, Ebo takes up so much space in the lane, there's not room for Charlie Collier.
I mean, look, there's no way, they're hip to hip.
And when Ebo steps out to the free throw line, since she can't make that shot consistently, you can front and be behind Charlie Collier.
Texas turns it over again. Smith, the little hezzy, and gets fouled by Collier. That'll be number 2 on Charlie Collier, who, remember, fouled out their first matchup.
Alyssa Smith is a next-level athlete. I mean, she is fast. She's got great bounce. She can finish in space, hang in the air. I mean, she's a junior. She is not eligible for the draft, but, man, she is going to be a really good pro when her time comes.
Come on, Alyssa, here's Holly.
You know, we saw flashes of how great she could be, even as a freshman when she only started 1 game. But she said this year her confidence has grown a lot. I know what I'm capable of. I don't doubt myself anymore. She said, also, my team gives me the ball a lot. Remember, she has Lauren Cox last year, Taya Cooper, 2 WNBA players that were playing around her. And this year, she's more of the show, and she has really shined in this opportunity.
Holly and I had a chance to see Alyssa Smith in person her freshman year against Arizona State on a reservation in Arizona. And that was when Kalani Brown was on the team, Lauren Cox was on the team. And in that particular game, Alyssa Smith was the best player on the floor. And she certainly showed flashes of what we've come to expect now in her junior year, game after game after game.
Smith hits both free throws. Baylor on a 9-2 run has taken an 8-point lead. And Texas has gone back smaller after those fruitless offensive possessions with a clogged paint in the way you don't want it. Little turnaround, wedges off the mark for Egbo. The follow won't go for Oliver. Rebound secured by Celeste Taylor.
Generally, anything clogged, not good.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. Just in general, can't think of many positives. But if you have any, please tweet them at us. A turnover here from Texas. Smith, whoa, that is a charge. Audrey Warren took a big-time hit. And that is foul number 2 on Alyssa Smith. 2 on Smith, 2 on Collier.
Riggs going to be with you alongside Coach Andy Landers and Charlie Cream coming up on the ESPN E-Trade halftime report. We will talk about what happened over the weekend. We've got the committee's new top 16, who's in, who's out, and how all of that went down. Plus, we'll take a look at Texas A&M. How good are they? What is their ceiling? And guys, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about this Baylor team. Ryan and Rebecca, what do you think?
I think so, Kelsey, as we look at Charlie Cream's bracketology. This is not the committee's, this is Charlie's. What do you think, Rebecca?
I was happy yesterday to see in the latest committee reveal that Baylor moved up from a 3 seed to a 2 seed because a 3 seed to me seemed a little bit ridiculous. This is a really, really good Baylor team that has a legit chance to go to the Final Four and win a national championship.
I think their coach, Kim Mulkey, would probably agree with you.
Yeah, she found it interesting in the first reveal, to say the least, that they were a 3.
And an offensive foul here against Baylor as Bickle turns it over. And Kim Mulkey's not so sure.
I think that might have been her reaction when she found out they were a 3 seed.
Texas has 11 turnovers in the half. Baylor has 10. Make it 12 turnovers for Texas. They are 4 of 20 from the floor and have just 2 assists. And the Baylor offensive numbers are not much prettier, as you can see, as they turn it over again.
And we talked earlier, you know, Texas is a very good defensive team, but you don't get much better defensively than what we've seen, not only this season from Baylor, but in the history of Baylor since Kim Mulkey got there.
They're holding opponents to a nation-low field goal percentage for a 4th straight season. Team shooting just 31.5% against Baylor this season. The straight-on 3 is good for Audrey Warren, and a much-needed delivery for Texas.
Yeah, Vic Schaefer told us earlier today, making shots has been our biggest issue this year. So anytime they can get a 3 to fall, it's a bonus.
Egbo guarded by Collier, who has 2 fouls. Egbo gives it up. Urson, mid-range, not that time. Here comes Taylor. Alan Taylor. Nice look inside, and the finish from Collier off the delivery from Celeste Taylor.
Yeah, until that possession, Baylor had done a really good job defending Texas's dribble drive and not needing to help. And when they get by the initial defender and need to help, that's when Collier can get easy buckets inside.
Second field goal of the game for Collier. Oliver trying to shake free, could not, got her own rebound, couldn't put it in. Collier collects it. Then Texas building a little momentum here towards the end of the second. Scores on back-to-back possessions, which has been a rare find in this opening half. Lambert's jumper, no. Rebound, Egbo. Her 7th of the half. Richards fading and gets the roll. And a foul against Texas, I believe, that's going to give Baylor a chance for 3 very unconventionally.
Yeah, the clamping. Not only the clamping, but then when you bend and pull a player over, that's a recipe for injury. So the officials, you have to call that. And that's a shame for Texas because they were inching closer and closer. Now this could be a 4-point swing.
Bickle at the line. Interesting method. Bickle stands very far away from the free throw line before striding into her free throw. Right?
Yeah, she steps into it. It's because those girls are screaming.
Wow.
Right?
They have not been to a game in a while, okay? That's going to be Maeve, Rose, and Siobhan.
That's going to be you and me when we get to the Sweet 16 and can finally be on site.
Collier couldn't finish, got a whistle. And we'll see what's on. It'll either be number 2 on Egbo or number 2 on Urson, and it is number 2 on Moon Urson. Charlie Collier, career versus Baylor, I mean, if that doesn't tell you how incredible the Baylor defense is.
Not only incredible team defense, but one thing you know about Baylor is they always have size inside, and they always have really good size inside. And so they have the size strength to match up against a post player like Charlie Collier, and they have terrific perimeter defenders who are willing to help.
Collier hits both. You see a little ice on the left leg of Melissa Smith, who is out right now, has 2 fouls. Texas down 4, coming on 90 seconds remaining in this first half. A much different contest than what we saw the first time between these two teams. As Baylor travels, that is 12 turnovers apiece for each of these teams in this first half. Hey, Big 12 now on ESPN+. It's a must-have for Big 12 fans. Tomorrow, the number 15 Texas men take on Iowa State at 7 Eastern. Next Monday, the 6th-ranked Lady Bears host number 20 West Virginia at 8 Eastern. Plus, Big 12 Now is the home of the early rounds of the Women's Conference Tournament starting March 11th. Sign up today at espnplus.com/Big12Now.
I'm very pleased with my ESPN Plus subscription.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I wish I got a discount. I'm paying full price, right?
You do the Hulu, Disney Plus,
Oh yeah,
ESPN
all 3.
Plus bundle.
Yeah.
Warren, a 3 is good. A couple big threes here for Audrey Warren. A hard, smart, heady player who Vic Schaefer is very high on. She was 6 of 13 from 3 entering tonight's game. Through the lane, Carrington caresses it home.
Jeanette Carrington has been so good for Baylor all season long, coming in off the bench, providing that scoring punch, great rebounder, great size at the guard spot. And it really helps on the defensive end as well.
About a 3-second difference, game and shot clock here. Lambert, guarded by Richards, uses the screen. 5 to shoot, Alan Taylor through the lane, gets a whistle, and Baylor very upset, might be a tech as well.
I wouldn't call it a tech. She threw the ball down and then tried to catch it, and she wasn't able to catch it, and that's why it bounced so high in the air, so I hope they don't call it a T.
I think that's what the conference is about, though. And it's just going to be, it looks like, the shooting foul, and that's it.
There's a little bit of contact on the shot. Oh, I think she was like, yeah, right away. Oops, my fault. I didn't mean to throw it down that hard.
So
they did call the T.
Yeah, they did. You just not usually going to get away with a slam of the ball that goes over your head.
Right.
Now, for Egbo, the problem is that also becomes her second personal. Technicals are also personals. So 2 on Egbo and 2 free throws here for Alan Taylor, and then there'll be 2 more free throws as well.
And important to note, too, in the game earlier this season when Baylor lost at Arkansas, both Melissa Smith and Queen Egbo in foul trouble in that game. Their presence on the floor makes a huge difference.
Another thing to note, Texas has really struggled from the free throw line. They were 9 of 19 in the overtime loss to Oklahoma 2 days ago. We just saw those 2 misses from the line. They, over the last 5 games, have been 55% from the line, as Collier hits the first. Now, Alan Taylor's were because of the foul. Collier's are the free throws from the technical.
And how about that? You're typically an 81% free throw shooter. When one of your better free throw shooters is your post player, that's not the most common of things. And now, was the foul, original foul on Egbo? Because it looked like she was the one who...
Yeah, they called it on Gusters, though.
Okay.
Could have been, otherwise it would have been 3.
I think there's leeway when a kid throws a ball down and immediately says, like, my bad, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you. to ask.
But I'm a mom, so I see kids like do something and right away know it's wrong, and you feel a little better. Like, all right, you knew it was wrong. I'm not going to punish you.
Yeah. Also, it may have been the wrong call, so understandably, that was an understandable reaction from Queen Egbo. 6 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Lambert, 3 seconds left. A good look from Warren off the mark, and that'll do it for the second quarter. Not pretty, but Texas able to hang around with number 6 Baylor. 2-point game at the half as we go to Kelsey. ESPN's Road to Champ Week presented by Wendy's. Charlie Collier, one of the top players in the nation, 7 points in that first half. How about Nalissa Smith? Held to 6 points in the first half. Baylor a 2-point lead after 2 quarters of play. As we welcome you back inside our ESPN studios. Hey again, everybody. Ryan Rucco along with the Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. You know, there wasn't a lot of scoring for anybody in that first half. The defense has certainly won those first 2 quarters, but specifically Baylor, what were they able to do against Charlie Collier?
Yeah, we heard Coach Landers talk about the great defensive effort on for both teams, and Baylor did a great job of clogging the paint. They sent defensive attention to Charlie Collier the entire game. Here, you just seen Queen Egbo fronting her. Eventually, Baylor gets the turnover, and then when Texas went with its big lineup, there's just no room to operate inside. And then Nalissa Smith did a really good job in that first half, finding passing lanes, getting steals, turning them into points the other way. But Baylor is going to clog that lane, Ryan.
Let's get a little update on Nalissa Smith from Holly Rowe.
Well, Nalissa Smith had a slight injury in that first half. We saw her on the bench towards the end of the first half with some ice on that left leg. The lower leg, she apparently took a bruise when she drew a charge, but she appears to be moving fine in warm-ups for the second half and has returned to the court.
All right, Holly, that's good news for Baylor. Smith does have 2 fouls, so does Collier. Warren through the left side of the lane, couldn't finish. Rebound secured by Egbo. Down the floor, gorgeous feed. Richards couldn't finish, but the follow from Nalissa Smith.
I love watching Nalissa Smith float. And sometimes Baylor runs plays where they set back screens, give her alley-oops. You saw right there the catch and finish.
That 3 rims off from Warren. I mean, there is definitely a concerted effort to get more looks from distance for Audrey Warren, who had taken just 13 threes all season entering tonight. She'd hit 6 of them. She's 2 of 5 this evening. Quick finish inside, and Egbo puts it in.
And a really nice pass that time by Dee Richards. Going right, little head fake, bounce pass, perfectly delivered to her post.
And Vic Schaefer is going to take a timeout. Didn't like the way those first couple of possessions went. So a timeout taken by Texas. Baylor by 6, third quarter action. Start to the third quarter for Baylor.
Yeah, not only 4 quick points, but 4 quick points in the paint. First the follow by Nalissa Smith, and then Dee Richards. A great pass to Queen Egbo on the block. Good decision by Vic Schaefer to call that quick timeout. Points have been hard to come by. you have to take a timeout to hit the momentum there. And you see this season, the third quarter has been very good to Baylor.
6-point Baylor lead. Lambert gives it up. Lambert into the lane, burrows in, couldn't finish. Collier hit the deck. Had her arms open looking for a call, didn't get it. Underneath, Urson gets free, and those are 3 easy buckets to begin the half for Baylor.
And it started on the defensive end for Baylor. You can't defend the dribble drive much better than they did on the last possession.
Each of these teams had 12 turnovers in the first half, and that's number 1 in the third quarter for Texas.
Nalissa Smith does a lot of good things for Baylor on the offensive end, and she is an unselfish player. Here, the great flash by Moon Urson, and Nalissa Smith found her.
30-22, Baylor in front. They took down Texas. It's going to be off Texas. 60-35 first time these teams met. Hey, Saturday, it's a full day of college basketball across our networks, highlighted by number 4 Illinois and number 7 Ohio State at 4 Eastern on ESPN, followed by Duke and North Carolina at 6. Baylor had just a 1 rebound edge at the half. They normally bludgeon opposing teams on the glass. Number 1 in the nation in rebounding margin, a +19. They out-rebounded Texas by 20 in that 25-point win on Valentine's Day. Urson, mid-range, short, out of bounds off of Baylor. Can I tell you my favorite Baylor rebounding stat?
If you can narrow it down.
I know
yes,
there's a smorgasbord to choose from, but that they've out-rebounded their opponents in 151 of their last 161 games.
Remarkable.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I can understand why that's your favorite.
I can't tell if that's a legitimate cosign.
Well, when I'm looking for my favorite stat, it's like trying to pick your favorite kid. It's really hard to do.
I know it's Thomas. Lauren Ebo lays it in.
And that time, the guard gets past on the dribble drive, brings the help defender over. We saw that happen one time in the first half. Now it's the first time it's happened in the second.
Well, you talk about the rebounding of Baylor, the smorgasbord, if you will. And the players that I spoke to this week said, if you will buy into playing defense and rebounding, you'll win a lot of games at Baylor. That is what Kim Mulkey tries to pound into her players, and they believe it. They're the ones who told me that. Her defensive philosophy comes from her coach at Louisiana Tech, Leon Barmore, and she said, you know, we focused on it. Our head coach focused on defense and rebounding. That's why they were so great. That was a legendary program, and she's built her program just like it. Thanks a lot, Coach Barmore. Baylor continuing that great tradition.
Can we just talk about that phenomenal pass by Nalissa Smith?
That was unbelievable.
I mean, ridiculous.
That was one-handed, effortless, hooked around the defense to a wide-open shooter.
And she doesn't get the assist for it, but wow.
Little jumper too strong as Baylor comes up with the rebound after Holly gave you some more outstanding color on why they're so good on the glass. Richards whips it out. Smith, the crossover, able to finish, plus the foul. Nalissa Smith with the athletic move to the cup.
It is so fun to watch Nalissa Smith play basketball. This is the pass we were talking about. Perfectly placed, whipped around multiple defenders, and then on the offensive end, we know she's great in space. Well, how about putting it on the deck, through the legs, finishing over 6'5" Charlie Collier. Give us a little flex in an and one.
Nalissa Smith, the first player in this game in double figures. She has 10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals. And Kim Mulkey said, yeah, you know, when you're going into a game and you're playing against someone who you know is being touted as the #1 pick in the upcoming WNBA draft, yeah, you're going to want to show your stuff, and that probably does add a little extra motivation. Another turnover from Texas. Egbo up to Carrington. Dejanay through the lane, plus the foul. And Baylor starting to assert itself in the third. But we talked about Nalissa Smith and Kim Mulkey talking about maybe motivation in this game. Said Nalissa Smith was the preseason player of the year, and my mind hasn't changed. I'm so tired of people voting for players of the year based on stats. How about looking at a winner? How about looking at a kid that does whatever it takes to win championships?
And she followed it up by saying, you know, if our team had a different makeup, Nalissa Smith could have really gaudy stats. But that's not what we need her to do for our team. I mean, her stats are still really good.
Yeah.
But you cannot base whether it's Conference Player of the Year, National Player of the Year, solely on somebody's statistical output. Winning matters.
A 12-2 run for Baylor. They have their largest lead of the game. It's 12. This is a 2-point game at the half as Collier misses the free throw line jumper. She's just 2 of 8 from the floor.
But I like that little pin down screen by the other big. I think that's a good way to get Charlie Collier a good look.
Oh, too smooth. Nalissa Smith. And Kim Mulkey fired up, as is Nalissa.
Is that a Kim Mulkey flex in the green jacket?
I didn't know that fabric allowed such a thing.
I don't think it does. Woo, but that fabric does. Nalissa Smith, we see you, we feel you.
Shrimp, you can do anything with him. Here's Cunningham, the pull-up. Got it!
He's the real deal. He's continuing to get better and better. It's unbelievable.
Oklahoma State and Oklahoma coming up 9 o'clock on ESPN. Bedlam in Stillwater. And for more on it, here's Holly Rowe.
Well, I recently spoke with Cade Cunningham, and we talked about this Bedlam series. It's his first and probably only time playing in the series. I told him people make their legacy in this game, and he did just that in the first game in an overtime win. 40 points, 11 boards. You're going to want to watch Cade Cunningham tonight, I promise.
Oh, yeah.
Did you say 40 and 11?
Yeah.
Do you think Texas gets 40 in this game today?
It's going to be tough against this Baylor defense.
Yes, it is.
And that is going to be an offensive foul, and Vic Schaefer is having to be held back. That is an apoplectic reaction from Vic Schaefer, who is almost certainly going to get teed at least once, if not more. Having to be held back by his assistant coaches.
Oh, wow. I can completely understand why he's upset. Queen Egbo had her arm wrapped around Charlie Collier's waist. Collier puts her hands straight up in the air to post up. That absolutely should not have been a foul called on Charlie Collier.
And you can see Coach Schaefer's daughter Blair holding him back. And you know what? If you're Vic Schaefer, you also want to protect your star player when
Without
you see
question.
a call like that, right?
All season long, one of the things that really impressed me about Vic Schaefer is in post-game press conferences, in particular when his team has struggled or lost, every single time when he talks about what his team needs to do better, he said, and that includes the coaches, we need to do a better job. He's one of those coaches players appreciate, because he's not just selling his players under the bus. He's taking responsibility. He's trying to protect them. He talked to us today about how much he enjoys coaching this team. And while they might be challenged on the offensive end of the floor, he couldn't talk enough about their heart and their grit.
Well, after the tech against Schaefer, that was also the 4th personal on Collier. So, I mean, obviously a ridiculously critical call. And as we saw from the replay, a completely erroneous one.
And if it's her first or second foul call, he doesn't act like that.
Yeah.
But he knows how it's going to impact not only her ability to play, but how it's going to impact this game.
An 18-point Baylor lead. A 14-point edge in the paint for Baylor. That 3 is good for Joanne Allen Taylor off the delivery from Charlie Collier. Baylor with 18 points in the quarter. They had just 24 in the first half. Good hands initially there from Warren to knock it away. It's been a much different quarter for Baylor than Texas after both teams had to feel each other out in that first half with neither offense finding a rhythm.
Yeah, Baylor is just done a really good job against that dribble drive. What a beautifully executed play. The inbounder is always dangerous, and Moon Urson was looking at Dee Dee Richards the whole way.
Collier working the paint, trying to get position. As the jump shot was missed, Warren stole it. Collier, and it's going to be a blocking foul called as Collier will get 2 free throws.
There's no way in the universe the officials could have called that an offensive foul after botching the last one. And you heard Vic Schaefer that whole possession. Look at her. Look at her. Charlie Collier's working hard. Warren with a great job getting that steal. And, you know, Vic Schaefer right now understands that Player of the Year perception in the Big 12 might be riding on this game. And Alyssa Smith is playing great, and Charlie Collier hasn't been able to get as many touches as he and Texas would like her to get.
Okay, one.
Collier with 8 points now, 5 of, make it 9, 5 of 6 from the line. Playing with those 4 fouls. Egbo flips it up and in off the window. And there have been some incredibly effusive celebrations from Baylor after these buckets.
It's a really nice move by Egbo. Really good footwork, facing up. But yes, incredibly effusive celebrations.
Baylor is fired up in this third quarter.
It's a rivalry. Texas-Baylor is a rivalry. And it's going to get more and more interesting over the course of the next few years. Vic Schaefer's got a really good recruiting class coming in, but as he told us, you've got to stack them up. So what's next year's recruiting class going to look like?
You also wonder what kind of fire was lit at halftime by Kim Mulkey.
Yeah.
Did that lead to any of the extra energy we're seeing from her players here in this third quarter?
And it's something teams have talked about all season long. You have to create your own energy because there's not the fans in the stands that you're used to.
Yeah. Egbo can't bank it in. And remember, too, Baylor is trying to win the Big 12 outright with a victory tonight. That would happen. They've already clinched a share of the Big 12 title, 11th straight year, as Collier finishes plus the foul. And a chance for 3 for Charlie Collier.
And how about Charlie Collier continuing to work hard on both ends of the floor? Remember, she's playing with 4 fouls, stays patient. And again, anytime Texas has been able, off the dribble, to get past that first line of defense, they've been able to find an open post player. It's the only time their post players have been wide open.
Collier, the first member of Texas in double figures, as she completes the 3-point play. 6 of 7 from the line now tonight. 14-point Baylor lead, the number 6 team in the nation. Good cross-court feed. Egbo found Carrington. Loose ball. Smith digs it up. Nice find. No finish from Carrington, though, on a nice delivery from Alyssa Smith.
How does Alyssa Smith only average 1 assist a game? She's a really good passer.
Warren gets stuffed by Carrington. Catch, fire, no, from Celeste Taylor. Baylor now 4 of 10 from 3-point range. Excuse me, Texas now 4 of 10 from 3-point range. Richards just 2 assists and 4 turnovers tonight for Baylor. Very uncharacteristic for her. She's second in the nation in assist to turnover ratio.
Number 2.
You know, we hear some of the music playing in the background. I brought this up to you earlier in the game.
I'm glad you're going to share it with the audience.
We can also hear the music in the commercials. And my point is, it's clear that it's not the players who are choosing the playlist during this game. I think we've heard Nirvana. I think we've heard Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like a player-friendly playlist, unless it's the players of my era.
Although music is timeless.
What's your song now?
The driver's license song? It's terrific.
It is.
It took me like a month to hear it, but my goodness, I understand why all the kids love it. That bridge is glorious. Out of bounds, off of Collier. No, off of Baylor. It's going to stay with Texas.
Queen Egbo's getting away with a lot of wrapping her hands around Charlie Collier's waist as Collier is trying to post up.
Catch fire from Taylor, no. Rebound Urson. You know Holly wanted to jump on mic and just start singing that song.
Of course she did.
Of course she did.
She probably did.
Didi lobs it inside, out of bounds, off of Baylor. You know what Holly really wanted to do? She wanted to talk Didi Richards. Go ahead, Holly.
You read my mind, because it is unbelievable that at this point in her career as a senior, coming back from that tragic accident that nearly paralyzed her from the waist down, that she's also adding being the starting point guard to her resume this season. This is not natural for her. She's never played this position. And Kim Mulkey said, you know, it was in a text message over the summer that I said, we might need you to play a little point guard. Well, they started the season with her in that position, and she's never left the floor. It's a remarkable transformation for this young lady in her senior season.
Yeah, to be performing as one of the best point guards in the nation in your first year. This is going to give Texas 3 free throws. They also executed a 2-for-1. So 3 free throws coming here with a 4.8-second difference game in shot clock. But today, the 5 finalists were announced for the Nancy Lieberman Award, and Didi Richards, one of those 5.
Never played point guard in her life. And then this season, she's asked to do it and has excelled. And she's always been a terrific defender. And you add then the point guard responsibilities, and she's shown what she can do. 7 assists a game.
The other 4, Ari McDonald, Paige Beckers, Caitlin Clark, and Tiana Monakia.
And how about 2 freshmen? Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers both being considered one of the top 5 point guards in the country.
That's right. That's why I love you, partner.
I know you did that on purpose.
Indeed. But it is pretty incredible to have 2 freshmen who also are in the conversation for just National Player of the Year.
Yes, they are.
Didi Richards, one of those 5 finalists. Despite this being her first year as a point guard, Texas, meanwhile, has hung around here in this third after it looked like Baylor was going to run away. A stop here would be critical as Warren comes up with a steal. A chance in transition. Warren gets the whistle and will shoot a pair and try and make this a much more manageable 10-point game here at the end of the third.
And how about the toughness right now that Texas is showing? You know, they get down big. They've struggled to be consistent on the offensive end of the floor. But Vic Schaefer told us our defense is going to keep us in any contest. And here, continuing to fight back.
Vic Schaefer saying we got to turn them twice with 6 seconds left.
Because if you don't, you can get end-to-end in 6.
1 for 2 at the line. The lob ahead. And the layup is good, plus the foul for Dejanay Carrington, and that is exactly what you can't have happen if you're Texas.
Yeah, they didn't turn him twice, they didn't turn him once. Instead, a great job by Baylor advancing the basketball initially on a pass and then on the drive. Carrington is a strong finisher inside.
7 points off the bench for Carrington, who completes the 3-point play. And that'll do it for the third. Baylor, a 14-point lead after 3. Alyssa Smith, 17 points, 6 boards on 6 of 9 shooting. The ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's. Try the new jalapeno popper chicken sandwich and salad today at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Highlight time.
Champ Week is coming, and wow, do we have some incredible contests for you. Look at all those big-time conferences and their championship games on the ESPN family of networks.
Hanging out with Coach Landers on Champ Sunday.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, virtually.
The Women's Championship begins March 21st. All taking place in and around San Antonio, Texas. By the way, those matchups or those championship games we showed, those aren't the only ones on our
There's lots.
family announcements. There's so many. Warren, she's done some really nice things tonight. Unable to finish there. Just 2 of 9 from the floor, but has been pesky. Has hit a couple threes, been very active. Has turned it over 5 times. Richards banks it in high off the window.
Charlie Collier can only half come over because she's playing with 4 fouls. She's done a really nice job though, Ryan, staying in the game and staying engaged with 4.
4 on Evo, 4 on Collier, and a whistle here against Carrington. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, Baylor is without one of their assistant coaches today. That is because after their Kansas State game on Saturday, Kaylin Rice went into labor. She actually gave birth to her little girl 5 weeks early. Reeves K. Rice was born yesterday. Baby is doing well. And Coach Rice, we just want to say congratulations, and we are thinking of you. Can you imagine she coached in a game against Kansas State and then just went and had her baby? That's not normal, and we appreciate these strong women in college basketball.
Super women.
Super women indeed.
In college basketball. Wow.
Having a pregnant wife at home, I have a whole new appreciation for the process.
Maybe one of these days you'll call the game and then she'll go into labor. Now the prior foul that was called on Dejanay Carrington I thought was a good call. This one here, to me, she was moving her feet, getting to the spot, hands straight up. But this game has gotten chippy, so I would expect the officials to tighten up with their whistles.
Yeah. Well, you've seen, first of all, just sort of the physical nature of this game. There's the rivalry aspect. And then there have been some very demonstrative reactions after baskets from Baylor. And it's a big game for them. They want to win the Big 12 title outright, and it was a close game at the half. But they're putting a little extra sauce on the celebrations, and
that's going to raise the temperature.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. I'm sure it does. Texas shooting 24% from the floor. Baylor, #1 defensive field goal percentage team in the nation. Richards, catch, fire, no. Rebound, Egbo puts it in.
And that's where Ebo has to box out Egbo, because Charlie Collier, that whole possession, was working her tail off on the defensive end. She finished the possession with a box out. Credit Egbo for getting in there and being active, but Ebo has to box out.
You're cracking yourself up with that, aren't
I mean,
you?
yeah.
11 points, 13 rebounds for Egbo. That floater drops in off front rim for Joanne Allen Taylor. 12 points, 5 rebounds for Allen Taylor, whose first 2 seasons averaged less than 3 points per game, just 13 minutes this season, 34 minutes. And is that on Collier? It is, and it is going to be number 5 on Charlie Collier. And that will do it for the National Player of the Year hopeful.
And she had exhibited such great composure up until that point, but that was an obvious push in the back that the officials are going to see.
Off the steal, Celeste Taylor all the way in, lays it home. So Collier picked up her 4th early-ish in the 3rd quarter, was able to navigate and, as you said, show real discipline up until this moment. And Texas down 12, 7 minutes to go, has to navigate without their best player. Egbo, charge. Taken by guess who? Audrey Warren.
How many charges has she taken today? At least 3, right?
I think 13.
It's been a lot.
No, it's been quite a few. And this is something Vic Schaefer talked to us about earlier, just that she does those little things, those grinded out type plays, takes charges, is smart. Said she's hard to take off the floor because of all those little things.
Yeah, she's certainly his kind of player.
Deep catch, Evo the turn, just didn't quite put enough on it. Had the position. Top 4 matchups, 7 o'clock Tuesday on ESPN in men's college hoops with Illinois and Michigan. Richards raises up, air mails it, and did that graze Baylor? No. It's going to stay with Baylor. Charlie Collier, 12 points tonight, 9 rebounds, but like February 14th, did foul out. Vic Schaefer got a technical foul on Collier's 4th foul, which appeared to be a poor call, and Vic Schaefer lost it, understandably so.
Keep in mind, if Charlie Collier decides to declare for the WNBA draft, and if Texas does not get a game in Austin in the NCAA tournament, this could be her last game on this floor.
That 3 is good. NaLyssa Smith showing the full arsenal. Her first 3 of the season and just her 2nd career 3.
Hey man, watch out if NaLyssa Smith can add a consistent 3-point shot to her game. Oof.
I mean, Rebecca, I don't see why she couldn't. The form looks fine. She's just on a team that doesn't shoot a lot of them. And she's so athletic and can get what she wants inside.
NaLyssa Smith came into this game 0 for 7 from the 3-point line, and pick, pop, set, follow through. You're right. I mean, she's got a really nice looking stroke. 6'2".
Yeah, no, I think there are a lot of WNBA GMs and coaches watching her and excited about the possibility of the 2022 WNBA draft.
NaLyssa Smith, Ryan Howard, another junior. And of course, everything can be up in the air because all of these players can come back for an additional year. This year doesn't count against eligibility. Yeah, I mean, this is just what she's done consistently.
Well, NaLyssa Smith started playing basketball when she was 4 years old. Her mom, Nikki Smith, signed her up. But then Dad gets all the credit after that. Rodney Smith has worked with her, and she looks so comfortable. You can tell she's been playing since she was 4.
So skilled.
Based on experience, you're not getting signed up for sports unless Mom's doing it. She controls the calendar.
And a charge taken there. Ursin is going to foul out.
And this is a matchup where, frankly, Texas is overmatched. but their heart and how hard they have played in this game and how they've continued to take charges and work when things aren't easy for them on the offensive end, you have to take note.
Bodes well for the future under Vic Schaefer. Did such a wonderful job at Mississippi State. To the left side of the lane, Alan Taylor couldn't finish. There is Warren again, flagging it down. Catch, fire, and hit for Kyra Lambert from 3. You know, that has been a bright spot tonight for Texas. They have shot it much better from 3 than they have in recent days. They're 5 of 11 from downtown tonight. It's a 10-point game. A reminder that Texas was just 1 of 12 from 3 on February 14th against Baylor. Here's Smith with Texas hanging around. Shot clock fading. Smith with it down to 2, had to chuck it towards the rim, out of bounds, off of Baylor. A 10-point Baylor lead, 4:04 to go.
What does it look like when your forward hits her first 3 of the season? It looks a lot like that.
Texas did, in fact, get past that 40 you were talking about.
They did. I needed to give Texas more credit on the offensive end of the floor. And I've said it multiple times, super impressed with the fight and the grit with which Texas is playing in this game, in particular now without Charlie Collier on the floor.
Well, guys, we saw potentially the first pick in the WNBA draft tonight in Charlie Collier, but tune in because Cade Cunningham may very well be the #1 pick in the NBA draft coming in. And there's also someone very special playing in this game. Charlie Collier's boyfriend, Rick Isanza, plays for Oklahoma. So she is definitely going to be tuning in to see her boyfriend play in that Bedlam game coming up next.
Look at Holly. She gives you reasons to watch, you know?
Dude, how does she get all these pictures?
It's incredible. Can you imagine what it's like scrolling through the photos on Holly Rowe's phone?
I hope to try it in San Antonio.
You know she's got the Lindsay Whalen hockey baby photos in there.
All right, Texas, you've gotten another stop. Let's see if they can cut it to 8. I mean, they've so struggled to find offense easily.
They've been able to hang around here, even with Collier fouling out. Can they get it to single digits? Taylor, and that is going to be an offensive foul against Warren. For Warren, that is going to be her 6th turnover.
Taylor kind of put her in a bad spot, started dribbling before Warren was set. Dee Richards right there, man, she took a lot of contact. It's always scary to see Richards get hit like that.
Well, for a little more on that specific thing, as another 3 is hit by Alyssa Smith, who blows a kiss afterwards. Second 3 of the game for Smith. She had 1 career 3 before tonight. A 13-point Baylor lead. Let's check back in with Holly on Dee.
Well, guys, I think that most of us around the country, every time we see Dee Richards take that hard contact this year, we hold our breaths. But Dee doesn't. She said she is not playing with fear. You know, the doctors explained to her that initial collision with Moon Ursin caused a shift in her spinal column in her vertebrae, and that's where the injury came in. But she is shaking that off, as we can see.
13-point Baylor lead, under 3 to go. You do when you had 1 career 3 entering the night and then you hit 2 in 1 game? You blow a kiss after the second.
I wonder if she's blowing a kiss to those little girls we heard screaming during the first half.
I mean, Rebecca, have you seen many players in the nation better than Alyssa Smith?
No. I mean, she's certainly a first-team All-American. She is certainly in the conversation for National Player of the Year.
Carrington squeezes it in, and that may just about do it. A 15-point lead for Baylor. 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. Alyssa Smith tonight, 23 points on 8 of 11 shooting from the floor, as that layup drops in for Lambert. Smith is 2 of 2 from 3, 5 of 5 from the line, 3 steals, 7 rebounds. The clock is the friend of Baylor. They let it wind. Richards dishes. 4 to shoot. Egbo turns and hits.
Then practices her follow-through multiple times, going back down the floor. This is a Baylor team that the committee 2 weeks ago had a 3 seed in their reveal. Yesterday they have them as a 2, but woo!
Trying to climb even higher as Warren scoops it in, plus the foul.
I don't want to face Baylor if I'm a team in the NCAA tournament.
Baylor has just been so incredibly dominant when it comes to Big 12. 12 regular season titles, 11 straight. They've already clinched a share of it. They can win it outright in 1 minute and 18 seconds. 4 times they've been undefeated in Big 12 play.
Their one loss this year was to Iowa State when they were coming off of their COVID pause. Did not have Dejanay Carrington in that game. Iowa State played a great ball game, but that was their one loss in conference.
Feels like a Baylor team gaining steam as we head towards the tournament.
Yeah. One thing they've looked like today is a confident group of women.
Yes. Andrews unable to finish. Rebound taken by Ebo. Final 45 seconds in Austin. That 3 drops in for Alan Taylor, and Vic Schaefer is going to take a timeout as Texas makes it a single-digit game with 36.5 seconds to go.
They can wreak havoc with their full-court defensive pressure, so Vic Schaefer still sees life in his team if he can get a steal.
I mean, how about, too, just the fact this is a team that has shot it so poorly, but tonight, they found their stroke from three-point range at least, something for Vic Schaefer to build on regardless of the result. Texas is 6 of 12 from downtown tonight.
And they've shown, too, that their defense is enough to keep them in most games against most opponents. Just not against a team like Baylor, who really kind of found their groove offensively in the second half.
Charlie Collier fouled out with about 7 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Collier, a better performance in the first meeting, 12 points, 9 rebounds, with just 3 of 9 from the floor. Alyssa Smith got off to a slow start, but turned it on in the second half. 17 second half points for Alyssa Smith.
And I asked earlier in the game, how does Alyssa Smith only average 1 assist a game? She only had 1 assist in this game. She made some beautiful passes that just did not result in assists. She has great vision and a willingness to share the ball with her teammates. Alyssa Smith has been absolutely spectacular in this game. If you just watch her feet on these replays, you see how quick and agile she is, especially for a 6'2" player. She can take you off the bounce. She's got the fade. She can hit three-point shots as well, but she has quickness and bounce. I mean, this is an elite talent.
She looks like a pro.
Yeah. It's like she's dancing on the floor when she has the basketball in her hands.
Yeah.
And like fast dancing, not slow.
So like a song different than driver's license.
Yeah.
Baylor could not inbound it and has to take a timeout. They still have a couple timeouts remaining. Texas out of timeouts now.
Kim Maltby, of course, is going to coach this as if it's a one-point game, and her team absolutely needs to get the basketball in. Let's, not a ton of late game situations. Draw it up, see if your players can translate from the board to the floor and execute. How do you feel about the chin strap? The chin hammock.
I don't think it's advisable in general. I'm a little comforted in that Kim actually had COVID herself and is within a short period of time since then. But let's check in with Kelsey Riggs.
Yeah, Ryan, coming up next here on ESPN2, we've got a Pac-12 matchup for you. Arizona, Oregon going head-to-head in just a few minutes after the conclusion of this game.
All right, Kelsey, thank you very much. Looking forward to that. Did you want to share your chin strap thoughts?
A chin hammock, actually.
Oh, sorry.
I think they should keep it as a fashion accessory even after everyone gets vaccinated.
Richards talked out on the logo. Texas not fouling. About a 6-second difference. Game and shot clock, and a foul called against Richards with 11.5 to go in the fourth.
Another charge. Drawn by Aubrey Warren. She is toughness personified.
Your head coach, you gotta love that. The way she has fought, battled all game long.
Looks to me like Didi Richards was trying to pass the basketball. I didn't think there was anything other than a common foul on this.
Looks like a common foul to me too. Just a little swipe with the right hand. Let's see.
But it's just because she was trying to complete the pass.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was anything extra there. Warren certainly went down hard, but I didn't think there was any extra there by Didi Richards.
Officials taking a look at it regardless. Things have slowed down a bit in these final seconds.
And I'm glad to see Vic Schaefer looking positive on the sidelines because there's a lot of positive things that his team did today.
Lots to feel good about. If you're Texas, the way you fought in this game, even the way you battled once Charlie Collier fouled out.
New coach, new system.
Final 7 seconds, and another whistle here is going to go against Didi Richards.
5 charges now, drawn by Warren.
Well, that wasn't a...
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Charge-like
fouls.
Yeah.
It's a new category. You know what? You go to the Hall of Fame, you can make fouls like that. Warren hits the first. And hits both. 7-point game. 7.4 seconds to go. Baylor will take a timeout.
Neither of these coaches want this game to end.
They certainly don't.
And we can't talk about her enough. Nalissa Smith has been spectacular in this game, the best player on the floor, and why? Well, her skill set, the way she can dance, it makes the defender lean, and here she's able to get by 6'5" Charlie Collier, finish while fading out of bounds and gets the and one. And then on the perimeter, comes back, gets the basketball. I mean, not only the handles, goes each way, first right, then left, able to finish. What a terrific performance by Nalissa Smith this afternoon. Not only her first 3 on the season, her first 2 threes on the season. Let's see him blow both. She gonna blow a kiss? She did.
She sure is. The inbound under 5 seconds to go. And that will do it. The Baylor Lady Bears have claimed the Big 12 title outright. 11 straight seasons at the top of the conference. For Kerry Callahan, our producer, our director, Jimmy Platt, Rebecca Lobo, Holly Rowan, our entire crew, I'm Ryan Rucco. Let's send things out to Dave Patch.